Hello students, we are now going to start chapter 5. This is on matter. I hope you will enjoy this topic. Welcome. Generally speaking, we can say that everything around us is made of matter. Things like water, air, metal, plants or animals are all matter. Matter can be found in 3 states. These are solid, liquid, or a gas. We call these states of matter. One thing you need to understand is that when we learn about matter, we understand what things are made of and how they can be used. So, in this chapter, we will learn about matter. We will also learn about its states and how matter can change from one state to another state. Let's now define what is matter. Matter is anything that has weight or mass and can occupy space. Everything you touch is matter. When we are measuring the weight or mass of matter, we express them in units. The commonly used units are such as kilograms or grams. Therefore, when we say matter can take up space, what we mean is it is real and has a physical presence. In our real life, matter can be either pure, like a single thing, or can be a mix of different things. Matter can include everything we see around us. Things like rocks, trees, air, food, water, even our bodies. Let's now start the states of matter. Matter can be found in 3 states that are solid, liquid, and a gas. The form it takes will depend on different factors such as the temperature and its pressure. Let's now look at these 3 states of matter in detail. The first state of matter is solid state. Solid state means something that has a special shape and its shape cannot change easily. Examples of solid state are things such as gemstone, rocks, wood, pots, pencils, and chalks, and others of similar nature. The second state of matter is liquid state. Liquid state is when something can flow and usually takes the shape of the container. Usually, things in liquid state have a fixed volume, which means that they always have the same amount inside the container. Examples of liquid state include things like water, juice, milk, paint, and even blood. Usually, liquid change their shape to fit the container. Let's now check the gaseous state. Gases are just like air. They don't have specific shape. Gaseous state can spread anywhere, such as oxygen, hydrogen, carbon, and others. Let's now see the changes in states of matter. Matter can change from one form to another form. Let's see clearly how this can happen. Let's now see the states of matter, how they can change. We can have solid changing to liquid. This is called melting. Let's see an example. Yes, this is how melting occurs. Also, liquid can go to solid, that is freezing, such as the refrigerator, as you can see. Again, liquid can change into gas, that is evaporation. That is the example when boiling. Also, gas can change to liquid, that is called condensation, as you can see in the example there. Okay, let's now check how solid can change to gas. That is called sublimation. Just check clearly how it happens. Also, gas can change directly to solid without passing to liquid. That is called deposition. Just check that example, you will clearly understand. Okay, so in summary, we can see solid to liquid melting, liquid to solid, that is freezing, liquid to gas, that is evaporation, and gas to liquid, that is condensation. Solid changing directly to gas, that is sublimation, and gas changing to solid, that is deposition. Now you can try answering those questions. Let's now see each of the change in state. Let's start with the sublimation. Sublimation is when a solid turns directly into a gas without becoming a liquid. A good example of sublimation is dry ice, which is frozen carbon dioxide, when it turns into a gas without melting first when heated. Let's now see a live example of sublimation. Just look on the screen. Okay, there we have a dry ice, and now you can check what happens as an example of sublimation. Let's keep watching. Okay, now you can take a balloon. When you mix hot water in that dry ice, you can see what happens. That is a sublimation. If you cover with a balloon, you can see how the balloon gets filled. Yeah, that is the gas which is coming from the ice. Just keep watching, you will understand exactly how sublimation occurs. Okay, that is the practical application. That is the practical application, and you can even burst the balloon and you can see what happens. There is a lot of air, and when it reaches a point, there is no more increase in size of the balloon. because sublimation is over. Keep watching. Let's check. Yes, you can see the gas which was filled in the balloon. That is sublimation. Another change is deposition. This is actually the opposite of sublimation. It's when a gas turns directly into a solid without becoming a liquid first. Just imagine how it feels, a gas turning into solid without even passing through the liquid stage in between. Very wonderful. Let's now see an example of deposition. As you can see, some ice drops have frozen on the car. That is actually the gas which has changed straight to a solid form, and that is common in winter, especially in European countries. That is what is deposition. Let's now see vaporization or evaporation. This is when a liquid turns into gas, especially when you heat liquid such as water, it changes to vapor. Vaporization is just like turning water into invisible steam when you boil that water. Okay, let's now see a live example of vaporization. As you can see from the screen, when we boil water, especially solid water, the water can evaporate, leaving out the salt particles, which are salt. The salt will remain in the bowl. As you can see here, those particles you see remaining are pieces of salt. And that is what evaporation or vaporization means. Just keep observing. Okay, let's now see about condensation. Condensation is just the opposite of vaporization. It is when a gas turns back into liquid. In real life, we can see condensation, especially during the morning when we wake up. You can see some water droplets on aluminum windows. That is air turned to liquid. Let's now see a real life example of condensation. As you can see from the screen, we have hot water. Then we put in the transparent glass. As you can see, I hope you have done this maybe at your home. Then, if you just cover the hot water, you will see some droplets on the cover. We can just put maybe an ice so that the water can condense easily. Just clearly observe what will happen on the cover. Yes, that is actually what condensation means. I think you have seen this in your daily life. You can try this experiment even when you are at your home. You can see this, a real condensation example. Keep watching, then give it a try as an experiment when you are at home. Keep watching and enjoy the experiment so that you can understand it better. Let's now check about melting. Imagine you have a piece of ice like the one you use to cool your drink. When it sits in the sun, it starts changing to water. So we can say that melting is when something solid becomes a liquid because it gets heated up. Let's now see a real-life example of melting. As you can see here, we have a liquid which temperature of that ice is 0, and we have put the Bunsen burner there so that we can start heating slowly. You will observe the temperature through the thermometer, as you can see. But we want to confirm that the melting point of water is 0 degrees Celsius. Let's keep watching. Okay, as you can see, the temperature is at 0 degrees Celsius. Now we want it to heat. When we light the Bunsen burner, you can see we are counting the time that will be taken. We want to check how the ice will change into liquid. Just keep watching. Yeah, you can see slowly the ice pieces are now starting to melt, are slowly changing into liquid. You can see after 2 minutes we have 0. It is still 0 degrees Celsius, but it has already turned into water. So the melting point of ice is at 0 centigrade. You can see the observation from the table there. You need to understand that fact. Okay, now if maybe you continue heating the liquid, what happens? Then it will completely change into hot water. You will notice that the boiling point of water is at 100 degrees Celsius. Let's now see about freezing. Freezing is just the opposite of melting. It is when a liquid turns into solid, like juice turning into solid. Therefore, we can conclude that freezing is just like a liquid becoming solid because of cold temperatures. Let's now see a real-life example of freezing. As you can see, we have water in the glass. It is placed somewhere where there is a low temperature. As you can see, water has changed to ice, and you can see even the changes taking place in that glass. That is what we mean by freezing.